The reason you haven't got your dream life yet is because you continue to accept your beliefs rather than taking a second to actually question if they're doing you any good. The longer that you simply tolerate what you have and what you think rather than taking a step to actively create your thoughts, the further you're going to be pushed away from achieving all of your desires. And I'll give you an example. My entire life, I was shy and socially awkward, and I spoke and thought that way about myself. And why wouldn't you? It's very normal to say, you know, I'm shy, I'm not a people person, I don't really like social settings, because technically it's true, right? It's true, but every single time you double down on that belief, it forms your reality. No one tells us that we get to change not only ourselves, but also how we perceive ourselves. Do you really think I would be out here having this YouTube channel if I didn't take the step to question my beliefs and consciously change them to, I am confident and I am extroverted and I am outgoing and socially charismatic? I changed how I saw myself, how I carried myself, and therefore all of the opportunities that I started to experience shifted towards what I had always dreamed of. Before we get into it, I have a very exciting announcement. As you all know, I have a book which is out to pre-order on Amazon, and the link has been in the description for everybody from the UK to be able to pre-order it. But now there is a specific link for my audience from India to be able to pre-order the book, so make sure you check out the description for that. I've also got my Facebook now linked in the description because I have set up a beautiful community where you guys can actually meet each other and make friends with like-minded people. But if Facebook isn't really your thing, then we also have a Discord community which you can check out in the description, along with my TikTok, Instagram, my second YouTube channel where you can see how I live my daily life with my routines, and my podcast is also linked in the description. Season 2 has now begun, so you can stream the first episode on any platform. And finally, I've got something really cool to share with you. Those of you who love learning but are always on the go, or those of you who are still studying, are absolutely going to love this. It's an app called listening.com, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. Imagine being able to turn any textbook, PDF, academic paper, or even any web page you like into audio that you can listen to on the go to save your time. Well, that is exactly what listening.com does. It's perfect for if you're cooking, working out, or just relaxing. This app frees up your time so that you can learn no matter where you are. And for all the students and researchers out there, you are gonna love the automatic chapter detection feature. You can jump straight to the section you need without any hassle. But my personal favorite feature of this app is the one-click note-taking. You simply click the plus note button while listening, and the app will take that sentence that you have just listened to and put it in a notepad for you to come back to later. I've been using listening.com for around a week now, and it has been a game changer when it comes to keeping on top of all of my research and reading around personal development. And guess what? Because you guys are a part of my community, you will get a special offer for using this app. You can sign up to listening.com through the link in my description to get an extra free week. So your first 3 weeks of using this app are completely free. Be sure to check it out. Chapter number 1, limiting belief causes, understanding where they come from so that you can finally undo them. So first, let's begin by giving you an example of what a limiting versus abundant thought process actually looks like. And of course, we're gonna bring in our girls, Lola and Athena, to show us how. Lola has a limiting mindset, and her current limiting thought process is, I'm not good at this. And who can blame her? Lola is starting a new business. She's never done this before. Of course, technically does not know what she is doing. While what she is saying is technically true, because of her lack of expertise, her mindset is all wrong, and it's gonna be the cause of her downfall. She is telling herself she's not good at something before she's even made significant progress to try it. And although she is still gonna take the steps to go on that journey and try it out, in the back of her mind, that limiting belief is going to sabotage all of the success that she once could have grasped in that area. This one limiting belief, I'm not good at this, is gonna hold her back in her decision making in her business. It's gonna keep her in a small box in her head that's going to make her hesitant with every single decision she makes. It's going to keep her away from certain opportunities because she thinks that she's not ready for them yet. She's gonna be acting in a small and safe way, which is going to prevent her from all of the growth and success that would have been available to her otherwise. Plus, because she thinks, I'm not good at this, I don't know how to do this, and that's all her mind is focused on, it also signals to the universe she's not ready for abundance, because she's not even choosing to focus on that. And so big opportunities will be held back from her because she's only ever gonna think she's capable of doing a small business, if that, and it's gonna make her so hesitant when it comes to investing her money, when it comes to going after other manufacturers that could help grow her business, because she has this inherent belief that she doesn't know. On the other hand, we have Athena, who is in the exact same boat. She's starting her first business, she's never done this, has no expertise, no background knowledge, and her thought is, I am about to learn so much. That's it. That's it. That's how simple the mindset shift is. Athena's not lying to herself. Okay, abundance isn't about I'm an expert at this and I'm a pro. She is self-aware enough to know she's never done this before. There's a lot to learn. She's probably gonna make mistakes, but it's a simple shift of defining herself and her success from her lack of knowledge in this present moment to, but what if it gets really good? What if I learn so much? What if I become someone I never thought I could be? What if I do become a super successful business owner? That's it. Now that she thinks I'm about to learn so much, she's more open to other opportunities she had never considered before. She's more open to taking advice from others, making bigger decisions, trying to grow her business. Who do you think is more likely to have the huge $1 million company and the small business that never really goes anywhere? And listen, this thought process is so natural. It happens all of the time. It's not necessarily something that you can just switch off, so don't feel bad if you can't. The key to this is just being aware of it so that you can change it. It still happens to me. So let's say, for example, I'm setting up a business right now, and while I'm doing it, it's something new, it's uncomfortable, I don't have knowledge in it, and so automatically my brain goes, but what if this doesn't work? But what if I don't get enough sales? But what if I'm wasting my time? And your brain is gonna do that. Okay, your brain is constantly in a fight or flight mode because it's trying to keep you safe, it's trying to keep you comfortable. So you don't beat yourself up about it, you give yourself grace for having that thought process, you remain aware of it, and then you think, okay, these are the thoughts that are going through my brain, and now I'm consciously deciding to change it rather than just accept, oh, that's the way I think. Because guess what? That's the way everybody thinks. No matter how many businesses one has done, no matter how much money one has earned, you are always gonna have a little bit of fear in you. It's normal. The difference is some people choose to be aware of the thought and then flip it on its head. So when those thoughts come into my mind, I think, but what if it goes better than I could have ever imagined? But what if I make more sales than I could have ever thought? But what if this goes from a 10K a month to a 100K a month business? That's it. It's as simple as that. You are choosing to replace those thoughts with ones that align to your dream reality. Okay, now let's talk about where limiting beliefs actually come from. Now we know they come from childhood experiences, trauma, our daily life experiences, what other people have told us, how our parents have raised us, that then form our self-perception. We already know that. But I want to share with you the more niche things that are hidden away that are actually influencing your belief system. The first cause is a controversial one, and it's taking note of other people's privilege. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Why do we do it? Looking at someone in the media, a celebrity, a nepo baby, and thinking, yeah, well, it's easy for them because they got this and they got this and they grew up with money. Okay, so does it change your reality? Does it make your life easier? No. But does it start to instill these limiting beliefs in you that other people have it easier than me? I was given a disadvantage early in life. I am so unlucky. Other people have so much help and I have nothing. And it starts to create this victim mentality because once again you are comparing yourself to others. Okay, the whole message of this channel is to get other people out of your perception completely. Whether it's comparing yourself to them because they're doing better or they're doing worse or whatever, they are completely irrelevant. The only way you are ever going to create abundance in your life is when you finally start focusing on yourself, because guess what? You can only create gratitude when you are focused on what you have in your present moment, who you are in your present moment. The second that you start to think, well, this person has this and that person has that, of course you're filled with limiting beliefs and you think that you're the unluckiest person in the world. Do other people start on a higher rung on the ladder in life? 100%, I'm not denying that. But when you start to fixate on that and be so hyper aware of it, all it does is make you aware of 101 more reasons of all of the lack in your life. The second cause of limiting beliefs is your circle or your inner circle. So people that you are regularly having conversations with. So let's take your friendship group, for example. What is their mindset towards money, towards career? What is their perception of a realistic reality? And does it align with yours? In fact, do they talk about realism at all? Or are they the type of people that will be delusional and that will hype you up, that are into manifestation and creating any reality you desire without worrying if it's realistic or not? Because instantly when you surround yourself with those types of conversations, it keeps you small because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Similarly, what is your family's mindset towards certain things? I'll give myself as an example. I come from a family where buying designer things or investing in luxury pieces is unheard of. No one has ever done it in my family. I'm the first one out of everyone to ever do it. And I remember I was buying my first designer bag and I was shaking. I was shaking because I was like, I know I can afford this and I know that I have saved for a long time and I really held this off, you know, I have truly thought about this purchase. But because I come from a family of people who think that it's a waste of money, who think you will lose all of your money, who think it's irresponsible because they don't have an abundance financial mindset, it was holding me back. Of course I did it anyway because I wanted to counteract my limiting scarce mindset around money, and when I did that, I was able to step away from that into abundance. But it just goes to show what you're surrounded with and what people try to teach you heavily influences where you go in life and how you view certain things. Plus, the energy around you affects you so much. Now my mindset grows so easily because my inner circle's mindset grows as well. I only surround myself with people who are delusional, who love to set themselves huge goals. We hype each other up to achieve whatever we want, whether it's being a millionaire, whether it's moving halfway across the world, whether it's traveling for 6 months. You need to start being friends with people who have aligned mindsets to you, because if you just tolerate any friendship that's in your life simply because they're nice and they're funny and whatever, it might do very bad for your mindset. And an example of this is, let's say you're working on a business that you're going to launch and you're super excited about it, and your friends are trying to be supportive and they're super nice, but they're not really in the business world, so they don't get it like that. And when you open up and you start talking about this, they're like, oh, are you sure? But what if this happens? And what about that? And is it realistic? Or are you sure you're going to quit your job? And they are not coming from a bad place. They're not bad people. That is just simply their mindset. They might have small town mindset. They are just not familiar with that world. And when you are constantly exposed to those conversations, it starts to infiltrate all of the confidence you once had about a new path you were going to take in your life, which just goes to show how important energy is in influencing your belief system and your self-perception. Another cause of limiting beliefs is our own inner dialogue. A lot of the times, our limiting beliefs are self-inflicted simply because of the story we choose to tell ourselves every single time we go through a different life experience. For example, your experience is your friend got a higher grade than you in a certain class. And so the story you tell yourself is, well, I'm not that smart academically. Or your experience is, that person didn't make an effort with me. In fact, they ignored me throughout that whole event. And so then the story you tell yourself is, people love to judge me and I am not likable. Or your experience is, oh my God, yet again, another boy played with my feelings and put me in a situationship. Why don't boys like me? Why am I not worthy of a healthy relationship? Why is every single man trash? I'm sorry, what? Who told you this? Once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, take a step back to actually think, how is any of that information factual? That person didn't come up to you and tell you, I don't like you, I am judging you right now. You told yourself that. Nobody is out here telling you that you cannot succeed and create so much abundance in your academic career. You are choosing to tell yourself that. Your friend doing really well on a test and you making a mistaken one does not automatically define your success in that field. You are choosing to give all of these separate events so many negative, self-defining beliefs. So now let's switch it. Your friend got a higher grade. Oh, maybe she knows a study hack for that class that I don't know. Let me go ask and learn more. That's it. That's the only switch you need. Instead of, I'm so bad and I'm gonna fail and why am I not good enough? That person didn't talk to you? How rude of them. Well, you know what? I don't really want to be around anyone who's gonna project and doesn't know basic common courtesy. Whatever. I'm glad we didn't speak in the first place. Another boy played with me and couldn't commit. Well, you know what? It's a lesson learned, which is now just gonna protect me and add to my experience so that I am better prepared for my next dating experience. Simple. See the difference? You are not hurting your character and your abilities anymore. You are finally able to see these experiences for what they are, which are simply experiences and lessons. Nothing against who you are or why you're not worthy enough. And the last main cause of limiting beliefs is other people. Let me tell you, we carry so many facts that we think are about ourselves, which are actually all lies. You think you're disorganized and you've carried this narrative about yourself your entire life just because you grew up and your parents were telling you you're disorganized. You internalize that belief because you were told off about it a few times, and then your confidence is lowered in that area. And as a result, it then affects your self-perception and your behavior. So then anytime you make a regular mistake that anybody else would have, you then use that one tiny mistake to then support that limiting belief you've been carrying around yourself because people told you you are a certain way. And then when you make any basic human error, which does not have to be self-defining, you make it self-defining because your brain wants to support the narrative of all of the beliefs that it has internalized from the way other people have tried to define you. You get to decide how you choose how organized you are. You could be the most organized person in the world if you finally decide to look at yourself in that way. So it's important to find the origin of each belief, and then you can start to finally undo them. And this leads us onto chapter number 2, rewiring your brain for success so that we can move away from limiting thoughts to more abundant ones. There's this overall misconception that your beliefs are just your beliefs, and people get very, very comfortable with complaining that, oh, I'm shy, or I'm not good enough, or I failed, so I don't know how to do this. Okay, so what are you gonna do to change it? The difference between an average person and a person with an abundant mindset is the person with the abundant mindset had all of the thoughts that the average person complains about, but took note of them and decided to change them for the better. And they continue to repeat that thought until it became a habit rather than just accepting, well, this is the way that I think. Because you get to change your mind about who you are at any moment you desire. So step number 1 for rewiring your brain for success is gratitude. Remember the privilege talk that I spoke about? Don't be focused on everybody else, what other people are doing, or whatever advantages they got in their life is useless to you. Well, the exact opposite is bringing more gratitude into your life. And I know, everyone talks about gratitude and how important it is, but stay with me here. You have privilege. You started on a higher rung on the ladder than someone else in life. There are so many people out there that wish they had exactly what you had. Now, you might not be exactly where you want to be. And of course, there are so many people who have so many more advantages than you, but don't let that let you forget all of the advantages that you've been given. There are people that are gonna wish they were born into the country you were born in the house that you live in, with the parents that you have, with the siblings that you have, with the network you have, the fact that you have food on the table, the fact that you are able-bodied, the fact that you are literally in education and therefore have so many opportunities. Your gratitude needs to get to a point where you wake up every single day and you're like, I have arms and legs. I can get anywhere. That's how simple it is. Sometimes it's not as extravagant as I have to be a millionaire or my family don't have any connections. You have so much to be grateful for constantly. I can speak and hear. I have access to the internet, meaning I can learn literally anything I want. How can I lack anything when I have so much information at my fingertips? Gratitude really is that simple. I started the habit of recording so many small wins to keep my self-esteem afloat, because that truly is the center of all of this. Recording all of these small wins and remembering them contributes to your abundant mindset, because it starts to form a more positive perception of what your abilities are. And it does not have to be big and fancy. It can be, I went to my first job interview. I don't care if you got the job or not, okay? A lot of people make the mistake of focusing on the result. You got out of your comfort zone and you applied to a job and you showed up to the interview and you didn't know if you were gonna get it, but you built up the courage to go and try anyway, and you learned something about yourself in the process. That is a win that deserves to be celebrated. A boy played with your feelings and you got in a situationship, and now you're using that to feel badly about yourself, but the gratitude in that experience lies with, I was vulnerable. I opened up myself and my heart to somebody else, allowing it the chance to be broken, but in the process, I grew as a person. I learned more about love, about dating, about what I want in a relationship. You had valuable life experience, which is gonna allow you to grow as an individual. That is something to be grateful for. And as you can see, every single experience you have, good or bad, you can extract gratitude from it. I aced a test. I went on my first run. I read my first book. I went on a solo date. I started a conversation with someone new, whether it be my barista, whether it be opening a door for a stranger in the street. I did something to step outside of my comfort zone. It's as easy as that. Step number 2, question your narratives and then prove them to be invalid. So an example of this is you go through life and you see that a celebrity got cheated on, your friend got betrayed, your parents are divorced, your aunt is in a toxic, abusive relationship. And then the narrative you pull from that is all men are trash and healthy relationships are so rare and love is dangerous and filled with hurt and pain. And so I should just settle because I am then lucky to find a man who is just nice to me and treats me right according to the bare minimum standard. In this case, according to the experiences you've had and what you've seen, yes, technically true. Men are trash in all of those instances, but that narrative is not gonna do you good in the long run. It's gonna encourage you to settle. It's gonna push you away from pursuing a healthy relationship. So we need to now change the narrative to benefit us. I actually had that exact same narrative. The example I gave you is my personal example. I had seen all of those things and I thought all men were trash, and it was super rare to be able to find a good one. So I consciously tried to prove that narrative invalid. I read so many books on what it takes to maintain and build and create healthy love. I started following couples online who posted healthy couple content, lessons we've learned in our healthy relationship, how we show up for each other in our relationship, basically changing my point of view away from the negativity. Because while those experiences are very real, they are not definitive and representative of all of the love in the world. They are 4 instances that you've seen out of 8 billion possible chances of true healthy love. Not only does it change your focus, but it allows you to attract more abundance into your life, because because it changes what you're thinking about and how you're perceiving love. The best way to do this is to consistently bring in material, media, knowledge, books that counteract the limiting belief that you have to prove them to be wrong, to the point where it's so illogical that you cannot maintain that limiting belief anymore. So that when your brain tries to go back to old thinking patterns where men are trash and you're lucky to even get the bare minimum, all of this new knowledge that you've maintained and exposed yourself to proves it to be false. But they're not though. But you can have this, and these are all of the standards you can set for yourself, and this person is in this amazing relationship, so that means it's possible for me too. 3, this leads us onto action. Let's say that your limiting belief is that you're not good with money. Your action to then combat this limiting belief and turn it into an abundant one is to challenge yourself to save between 10 to 20% of your income that month. And it now becomes a non-negotiable action in your life. That's it. You might need to give up some shopping, move some things around, and make a few sacrifices, but your main priority becomes meeting the thing that you said you were going to do. Because once you set yourself a challenge and then you complete it and you're at the end of the month and you're like, oh, I have 10% of savings, which I normally don't because I thought that I wasn't good with money, that limiting thought has now lost all of its validity just through that one action that you took. Plus you gain all of this motivation and determination, and your confidence increases with money because you're like, oh, actually I did the thing that I always thought that I was so bad at, and then that becomes a habit for you. Then you start to identify as the type of person that can save money, that can make investments, that does what they say when they're going to do it. Alternatively, let's say that your limiting belief is I'm not good at making friends. That was my limiting belief for 18 years of my life, and so the action I had to take was starting my first day of university, knocking on everyone's doors, introducing myself to strangers, and then organizing a get-together in my apartment at university to have everyone meet together. Did I absolutely hate it? Yes. Did I feel comfortable or confident? No, I was screaming on the inside. Every single part of that process felt horrible. And this is where a lot of people get it twisted. Oh, it doesn't come naturally to me, or I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. But you have to make up the steps and try anyway. Step number 4 is a simple one. Visualize you living out an abundant mindset and the lifestyle that comes with that over and over and over again. Watch it like a movie until it literally becomes your reality. Our limiting beliefs are there because they align with our perception of what is realistic for us. If you start to visualize your desired reality, which you might not think is realistic or believable, but the more you watch it, the more clear it becomes in your head, and the more you can place yourself into that reality. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real or an imagined experience. So the more of that visualized experience that you put into your brain, the more you think it's real, and the more it supports an abundant mindset where that is possible, and I can go after that, and I have all of these opportunities. Finally, step 5 to rewiring your brain for success. Every single time you go somewhere new, encounter a new situation or person, I want you to start thinking of the best scenario that could happen. Think about something right now where you have a lot of limiting beliefs around it, and I want you to close your eyes and think, what is the best scenario that could happen from this? And really think about it until it becomes crystal clear in your mind of you living the best scenario. Really think, what is the best that could happen if it all just went my way? Now that you have that image super clear in your head, I want you to imagine that your future self you have now come face to face with, and they tell you every single bit of that best scenario happens. It all comes true, and that's the life that you end up living. If you now had that guarantee from your future self, how would you now walk into that situation that you used to feel so anxious and limited about? How would you carry yourself? How would you talk? What opportunities would you go after? What decisions would you make? Everything would be changed. You wouldn't be doubting yourself. You wouldn't be worried, oh, what if this happened? Because now you've already been told the best thing is gonna happen, and there's actually nothing to worry about. Well, guess what? That guarantee is supposed to come from you right now. There is no future self. You are that future self. That future self doesn't get to where they're gonna be without you making those decisions right now. That's what self-belief is. It's not even encountering the situation, but telling yourself, but the best is gonna happen. I'm giving you that guarantee right now. There's nothing to worry about. Why would you worry about tripping up when the tripping up hasn't even happened yet? Why are you putting yourself into negative scenarios that haven't even happened yet and that are not based on anything factual? You need to train yourself to see the best scenario over and over again, and then live your life in accordance to that. Because the worst case scenario that your limiting belief system is built upon and that you're so worried about, it's not real. No one told you that all of these limiting beliefs are gonna come to life. So why are you acting like they are? Why are you living your life like it's all gonna become true? Because if you can imagine all of these negative perspectives and live your life according to them, why can't you just flip it to the abundant alternative and live your life according to them? Both of them aren't real, both of them haven't happened yet, but only one allows you to flourish in life. And that brings us to our final chapter, number 3, the homework chapter. If you're new here, these are actionable steps that come at the end of every single video so that you can actually implement all the advice you've learned. Today's homework chapter is a little bit different. I'm gonna give you one task that I'm gonna break down in steps to do in detail. Mostly because chapter 2 was a bunch of different actionable steps that you can take. So step number 1 is I want you to get out a piece of paper or a document on your laptop or even your notes app on your phone, and I want you to start writing down in headings all of the limiting beliefs that you currently possess. Let's say you have 5 big headings. Then you're gonna have a group of bullet points under each of those headings, which are your limiting beliefs. And for the first bullet bullet point of every single limiting belief, you are going to write what your inner dialogue looks like for that limiting belief and how that inner dialogue supports that belief. So what is the narrative you tell yourself about it? What belief is proving it to be true? And what is the situation and event that brought that limiting belief about in the first place? For the second bullet point, I want you to now start to question the validity of that limiting belief now that you understand the origins of it and what is causing it to become more and more prevalent in your life. So for the second bullet point, you can either contrast that limiting belief with its abundant alternative and start to train your mind to replace it with that, or you can use the second bullet point to start to unpack why that limiting belief does not define you, even if it is 100% true, and why it really just is one experience or one situation or one event, not who you are and not what represents your entire character. For the third bullet point, you are now going to pick an action on how you are going to prove this particular limiting belief wrong. And your action for all of these different limiting beliefs are going to be completely different. So for one limiting belief, it could be get outside of your comfort zone in that area to then shift your identity away from someone who can't do that to someone who can by picking an action that allows you to say, but I did do it. And finally, the fourth bullet point of what you're going to write under all of these headings of limiting beliefs is going to be for you to map out your brand new belief system and identity and then visualize it constantly until it becomes clearer than ever in your head. This is where you finally get to decide who you are rather than accepting who you've always been and the lies that everybody has told you about who you are. So an example of this is my limiting belief was I am shy, I am socially awkward. The visualization that I want to do and the identity I want to create is an alter ego of someone who is so confident, who can go up and talk to any stranger, who can make friends with anyone. And then from there, you're going to map out who this person is so that you understand them so clearly and that you can step into that alter ego and that identity shift. How does she dress? How does she carry herself? What does she talk about? What are her hobbies? How does she spend her mornings? How does she feel about herself? What is her self-perception? And then once you've got all of that mapped and written out, you just implement it all. And that is exactly what I did to get to this point in my life right here. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, I want you to comment down below. Let me know what your favorite fact was and what you're going to implement, or if you're going to start to practice that homework task that I just laid out for you. I would love to know because I read through all your comments to make sure I can improve every single YouTube video. If you haven't already, make sure you check out all the links in the description to pre-order my book, which is a full-on guide on how you can master self-love. A lot of the book does talk about mastering an abundance mindset as well, so be sure to check it out, along with my vlog YouTube channel and the second season of my podcast with all exclusive self-help content. Thank you so much guys for watching. I truly appreciate you so much, and I will see you same time next week on Friday for a brand new video. Bye.